Now, the Rotary District 7030 Governor Leslie Ramdani is visiting clubs in Tobago, and we're going to be checking in with him as well as Assistant District Governor for Tobago, Mr. Julian Skeet, to discuss some of their plans for the Sister Isle. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having us on.
Of course. How is beautiful Tobago?
Well, we must say Tobago is doing quite good. Thank you so much for having us. Our district governor arrived last night, so therefore
Nice.
things came to be for him in terms of his visit into Sunday. So we are looking forward to the experience.
Very nice. District Governor, I know we would have chatted a bit earlier, but for those who may not know, just give us a little rundown in terms of, what is District 7030 about, some of the projects they're involved in as well.
Okay, so good morning again. District 7030 encompasses the Rotary Clubs in 17 countries, starting from St. Kitts in the north, all of the Caribbean islands down on into South America, and then the French Guiana. Also includes the islands we call the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. In total, we have 74 clubs in our district, 7030. I have been visiting the clubs in Trinidad for the last almost 2 weeks, almost. Visiting them, seeing the projects they do throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad.
Yeah.
And let me say this now, Rotary is very active in Trinidad when I look at the community projects that they do. Okay, they engage communities and do many service projects to improve lives. And lives beginning from kids 4 to 10-year-olds, right up to adults in the community. So Rotary in Trinidad, they're making an impact in the communities.
Yeah. I'm coming across to you, Assistant DG, because I wanted to hear some of those projects that the DG just mentioned. Tell us exactly some of the projects that the Rotarians are working on in Tobago.
All right. Well, in Tobago, I want to say we have the benefit of 4 clubs. That's 2 Rotary clubs and 1 Interact club and 1 Rotaract club in Tobago. Some of the projects that the DG will be visiting over the course of the next few days will include visits to our recycling facility, where there has been joint initiatives with the Rotary Club and the facility here in Tobago. We'll also do some visits to primary schools in terms of projects related to recycling, reading, and a number of areas that we would have touched on. Further to that, the DG is into the environment, so we've got some of our joint projects coming up in relation to planting, and so ensuring that we secure, our wetlands area, and that's being done in collaboration with the division with responsibility for the environment. So that's just to name a few in terms of some of the areas that will be touched on while the district governor is here visiting with us. In addition to the fact that we will also be having a few courtesy calls, linking and making that communication with, of course, one of our stakeholders within Tobago, the Tobago House of Assembly. So we begin today with courtesy calls, including the Chief Secretary, the Honorable Fali Chavez Augustine, and Secretary with responsibility for the environment within her division, Secretary Natisha Charles Pantin. And then we go on to have some courtesy calls as well with the presiding officer in terms of looking at and exposing our visitors to the Assembly legislature. I want to mention that the Tobago visit actually, we get a 2-in-1 because we have the district governor here with us for this period, and we also have the district Rotaract representative, the Justin Schultz, as of the visit here in Tobago, and that speaks to, as DG would have referred to, in terms of the arms of Rotary, being our professionals, Rotaract, our young professionals, and then we have Interact and Earliac as well. So we get a twofold in this visit at this time around with the benefit of our district governor here from Grenada.
Yeah, that is amazing. I wonder if Trinidadians are listening and wondering, we didn't get a taste of that. But I'm coming across to you. Go ahead.
The DRR is from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, yeah. Now, I'm coming across to you, DG, because I wanted to know, okay, so Mr. Skeet would have mentioned your interest in the environment, and we know about your interest in the environment, but how are you going to use that interest to sort of make an impact or share it with the Rotarians in Tobago?
That is what, as I meet clubs, that's exactly what I've been doing. asking them to look around, take care of our environment, and it is noticeable. Things like simple littering, plastic bottles are a big scourge, in our surroundings, plastic bottles, plastic bags, etc. So we encourage Rotarians to lead projects pertaining to cleaning the surroundings. Like we can do beach cleanups, coastal cleanups. There's a lot of garbage thrown along beaches. Coastal cleanups, river cleanups, park cleanups. We also ask them to encourage recycling. The plastics that we discard can be recycled and converted to useful items. So those are the things to do.
Yeah.
Another thing that's important is planting trees. We never have enough trees. We can never have enough trees because climatic change, with the heavy rainfall that we get, there's a lot of flooding. And planting trees stabilizes the soil and prevents excessive erosion of soil. So those are the things we can do to protect our environment.
Yeah.
Clubs are also encouraged to do community projects like placing garbage bin in specific locations so persons can make use of them. With all of these things, we need to educate the public of the need to keep safe surroundings. Tobago is a tourist country, and we must present a clean appearance when we have visitors to our country. So that cleanup of the parks and beaches is important.
Now, DG, I know you only got in last night, but are there any plans to visit some of the sites? Like, for example, do you plan to go to, let's say, Argyle Waterfalls or any of the other sites in Tobago, just to see exactly, what sort of impact the Rotary Club can have on those areas as well?
Oh, yes, I'm sure the assistant governor will make sure that I see all sites, sites where they do projects and sites outside of where Rotary has an influence to compare how the different places are kept.
Yeah. Now, I know that we mentioned earlier, of course, the impact that the Rotary Club has had, especially in TNT, but where do you see it going, DG, in terms of the next few years?
As I said before, Rotary is very strong. And if we can engage our communities, as I keep saying, one by one, every Rotarian engages somebody one by one, we can make an impact because we can educate persons out there on keeping the environment clean. We also not only keep the environment, we are promoting literacy education. We do projects concerned with preventing disease, fighting diseases, ensuring that communities have, especially schools, have adequate supplies of water and so on. So we feel that if in our own small way, we can do these projects to improve lives in communities, the future looks good. If the engagement is key. We must engage persons and get them committed to working along with us as we do our service projects to improve lives throughout our communities.
Yeah.
So that the word engagement is important. Our Rotary International president has as her theme this year, imagine. Imagine. That's one word, but we ask Rotarians to imagine the many possibilities out there. Imagine how many things we can do that we can convert to reality, all towards improving lives. If we can do that, we can create great impact in our communities, our countries, and in the world.
Assistant DG, I'm coming to you. Now, I know that DG has been mentioning, of course, that there is a strong showing for Rotarians and of Rotarians in TNT, but I also understand that there might be some dwindling numbers, not just in TNT, but across the world in terms of Rotarians. How do you think we can encourage more people to join the Rotary Club and, build that community of supporting and assisting the vulnerable in society?
I think one of the important things is to remind the persons about the good old value that most of us grew up with in the context of that community spirit within the Caribbean region. And when we are able to see and we are able to learn that when I have the opportunity to benefit from something, it's important for me to make an effort to give back. I think that's one of the basic starting points when people remember the simple things that they never had to pay dollars and cents for, but made a significant impact in their life. It's a good starting point to remind persons about the essence of Rotary, which is service. And I think because of our structure, we get the opportunity to engage from the very young age in terms of primary school with our earlier component, then on to secondary schools, the secondary school age with our interactors, young professionals with our Rotaractors into Rotary. So that's another avenue which we utilize to ensure to engage and which has been working for us by virtue of the launch of new clubs in our youth service area, so that we begin to engage persons from very young. So by the time they get to a point of success in life and they're now able to do much more with regards to giving back, you begin to naturally look for an arm to do that in terms of giving back. And Rotary International continues to be that organization that is able to lend that kind of support. So that has worked for us significantly. It is also one of the strategies that we have utilized within our just over 40 years here in the Tobago space, because our very first Rotary Club here in Tobago would have been established as early as 1969.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of partnerships with other Rotary clubs, not just in Tobago, but in Trinidad, has that happened before? And are we going to see more of that happening this year, during this Rotary year?
Oh, definitely. We would have had the opportunity, notwithstanding the DG just arrived in Tobago last evening. I give you the most recent, the pet project of our district governor in terms of his distinct support for youth service. And we just had the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, where it is 2 of our Rotarians, 5 of our interactors would have gone across to Trinidad to connect with a number of the Interact clubs taking place there at Holy Faith Convent, an exciting and engaging time in Trinidad with our young persons coming together again, clubs collaborating for the work of Rotary in terms of engaging our young persons. So that's just one example of us coming together in that regard. And yes, most certainly, we continue to make that connection, because while I function as Assistant Governor for Tobago, representing our district governor, I have 4 other colleagues in Trinidad who also similarly are responsible for the various areas there. And we have regular meetings and communication to ensure that the mandate of our district governor and by extension our Rotary district continues to remain in focus for this period.
Yeah. And final thoughts, Assistant DG, before we close.
All right.
So I'm looking.
Go ahead, DG.
No, that was for you. Sorry.
No, I was going to go to assistant first and then end with you, DG. So let's hear the assistant first. Yes.
Well, let me just say that we are extremely happy to host our district governor and our district Rotaract representative here in Tobago for this period. We are looking forward to the upcoming days. And don't worry, we will certainly share most of those, and you might see us in and around via social media as well. And we look forward. As you would know, the opening was hosted in Trinidad at the start of this period, and therefore the closing takes place on Saturday evening in Tobago, and our counterparts from Trinidad will also be coming across to join us for the closing reception here in Tobago before the district governor departs the country on Sunday. So we are excited. District Governor?
Yes, very much so, Assistant Governor Julian. I am looking forward to my visit in Tobago. I know that Rotary in Tobago is very active, and when I say Rotary, I mean the Rotarians, the Rotaractors, and the Interactors. They're very, very, very active, doing many community projects. So I am eagerly awaiting when we get together later on this morning to move about to see the wonderful projects that they do. Also, to see the brand Rotary being established, being firmly established in the community in Tobago, so that persons in the community will realize that Rotarians are people of action, doing service projects to improve lives of persons who are not as well off as other persons. So that's a general idea, that we want to improve lives in our respective communities, and we work towards doing that.
Well, DG Ramdani and, of course, Assistant DG Mr. Skeet, thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show. Enjoy Tobago as much as you can. And, of course, I know that you will take back all your love to Grenada when you get back, DG Ramdani. So have a good day all around.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting us this morning.
Of course.
Really appreciate it.
And that was District Governor for the District 7030, Mr. Leslie Ramdani, and of course, Assistant District Governor for Tobago, Julian Skeet, just telling us about what the Rotary Club is doing in the Sister Isle, and of course, the DG's itinerary while he visits Tobago. You're the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.